Hey everybody, welcome back to Boost Your Income with Bootstrap to WordPress. You may not have recognized me with my freshly shaved face. This lecture is called Coding the Testimonials section. What we're going to be doing now is coding the testimonials section right here in our final static website. You can see I have a testimonials section. Testimonials are highly effective in sales pages if you're trying to sell a product or a digital product or a course. In my case, a course. And right here, I'm highlighting some of my feature testimonials from some students of mine. And I have a little graphic on the side. In this case, I have Brennan's actual face. Here, I'm hiding the identity of the people, and I'm just putting little avatars here, cool little illustrative graphics. And yeah, and then I have a block quote, and then the cite, when you cite the quote itself. All right, jump into your code editor, scroll down to your testimonial section, and give this section the ID of kudos. That's what I want to call that. All right, and in there, let's do a container class. Now I want to show you something here with Emmet, the plugin that I talked about a few lectures back. It lets you speed up your coding by just using short little keywords and then using a keyboard shortcut to expand that. So I could do this and just say container, and it'll give me a div with the class of container like so. But what if I want to go even further and nest some additional divs or elements? Well, I can do that. So right here, I'm going to add the greater than symbol, and then class of row. So that's going to give me a child of the class of row. So now if I just do that and expand it, check this out. So I got a container and a div of the class of row, all within each other. And you can keep going and going with that. It's almost endless what you could do. But right now I'm just going to need to use these two. Saves me time, and then I could just do this, of course. Call. This one will be small 8, because I'm going to center it in the middle with an 8 column grid and give it some offset. Call small offset 2. And in there, I'm going to add a level 2 heading. Let's give some space and say what people are saying about Brad. And let's give a little HTML comment here and say testimonial, because we're going to have a few. And so I just want to be able to keep track of those so I don't get too messy with my HTML. And let's try something here. I'm going to give a div with the class of row, but also the class of testimonial. So using Emmet, if I just say .row and .testimonial combined together, expand that, there we go. We've got a div with the class of row and testimonial. That's awesome. And then within this, I'm going to do a call small 4. Make sure to close that up. Image, I can use Emmet again to do that. Assets, image, Brennan.jpg. And this will say Brennan. There we go. And then after our call small 4, we need to add to 12 or equal 12. So what is 12 minus 4? 8. Call small 8. And within there, I'm going to add a block quote. Boop. There we go. And I'm just going to copy and paste this testimonial here. I'm not sure I provided testimonials in the copy deck. However, all you could do here is just add some gibberish or some lorem ipsum. My favorite is hipster ipsum. Check out hipsteripsum.com, and you can copy and paste some really interesting ipsum text. And then add a cite tag within the block quote. And then I put an M dash and then Brennan, comma, graduate of all of Brad's courses. Brennan is awesome. He takes all of my courses and he gives me shining reviews. Thanks, Brennan, if you're watching this video. All right. Now I'm going to copy and paste this. I'm going to add another testimonial, and let's change this one to Ben. And then the alt text will be illustration of a man with a mustache, because that is pretty accurate. I'm going to add the block quote along with the cite. Feel free to pause it and type it all out, or use some bacon ipsum, hipster ipsum, lorem ipsum. And the cite, M-Ben, graduate of Build a Website from Scratch with HTML and CSS. And I'm going to paste another testimonial under that one. Change this one. This one is AJ. Alt text is illustration of a man with a beard. And then the block quote right here. I just want to read this one out because this one's great. Brad is amazing, and I honestly think he's the best tutor of all the courses I've taken on Udemy. We'll definitely be following him in the future. Thanks, Brad. AJ, graduate of Code Responsive website with Bootstrap 3. Amazing. Thanks, AJ. And then we're going to add another testimonial below there. And that will be, instead of AJ, that will be Ernest. And the alt text for that one will be illustration, because I can leave that, of a man with a goatee. And then the text will be boop. And then the site will be Ernest, a graduate of Code Dynamic Websites with PHP. Save that. And now check it out in your browser. See what happens. Okay, so a couple things. So far, it looks okay. You can see a couple funny things here. Obviously, I have a broken image, so I must have typed something wrong. The block quotes aren't styled the same as the final site. You see this is italicized and it has no left border. Brennan is a square and needs to be a circle. And you can see the site just is clumped in with everything else. So you can't really tell that who said this quote. There's a little bit of a space right here. And we didn't type that space. And then we need some margin in between all the quotes. So let's fix those few things. First, there's something here in our HTML that I noticed when I was copying and pasting. The second and third and fourth, so on and so forth, testimonials had the class testimonial on the block quote. We don't need to have that there because we already have the testimonial class here on the parent. So we don't actually need that here. So if you copied that from me, delete that because we don't need it. We just need the block quote itself. So remove those. Just a little mistake on my part. It's okay. Clear them out. Make sure they're all gone. If you left them by accident, it's totally fine. But we just don't need them. Let's go ahead and fix that other image here. So I believe Ben might have been the issue. So Ben should be ben.png, not jpg. That will fix that issue. Let's check it out. All right, there's Ben. So we're all good. So let's do a few things here. Jump into your CSS, and let's start by styling the kudos ID. That'll be text align center. See what that does. So it centers everything. Really, the only thing that we need centered is just this title, but we're just centering everything. And then we'll put these here back to text align left in a moment. All right, under kudos, we need to style testimonial. And that will be margin bottom 60. We need some space in between them. And those images, testimonial, image, border, radius, 50%. And because we are trying to make sure this is cross-browser compatible, we're going to do WebKit border, radius, 50%, and Moz border, radius 50%. Save it, check it out. There we go. Now Brennan is a circle. These guys are already circles, so it doesn't really matter, but it's covered just in case you were to put different images in here that were squares. Saves you the time. The reason why you'd want to do that CSS3 trick is because instead of going in Photoshop and cropping this into a circle, you could just use CSS3 to mask it for you. It's awesome. All right, let's continue. Now let's scroll up to our global section, and we're going to style our block quote. Because that's a typographic element, we want to style the block quote. Let's put those block quotes here, just the end of our global. We'll just keep tacking more stuff here at the end of this CSS section. So block quote, we're going to style our block quote. We're going to say padding 0, border none, because we don't want that thick gray border on the side. Font style italic. Whoops, italic. Font style, that's the problem. Italic. And text align left, that will fix that. Now we need to also style the site. Block quote site tag. Display block, so now that'll jump it down on its own line. Color, let's put it 777. And margin 15 pixels in the top and nothing anywhere else, just to separate it from the block quote itself. And there is one more thing that we need to do. Do you remember that little space at on the very first line of the block quote? There was like a 1 space. That's actually not in our text. We didn't add a space. What happens there is a before pseudo class that gives some space to that section of the block quote for some reason, just for an indentation or something, but we can remove that just by selecting block quote and then the pseudo class before. So that looks like this. Put a colon and then before, and that just styles kind of like an empty invisible element before the block quote, and then display none. So that removes the before section altogether. Check it out. There you go. There is our testimonials. There are our testimonials. Better grammar. All right, hang in there. Next section, we're actually going to style and code our sign up section. This really nice looking parallax graphic background with some nice leading text and a nice big button. See you there.